Okay, hello and welcome to day 3, where we get to bring it all together today. So, we just listened to and had a dance and a boogie and a sing to Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. So, if you're watching the replay, bust out that song as you go into today and receive that, the beautiful lyrics and just how much it lights us up. So I've been singing it at the top of my lungs this morning in preparation for this. So I'm feeling excited. So I'm going to open up the slides. Okay, here we go. So present. Okay, so here we are at day 3 of Soul Ignition, a 3-day free challenge and a soul lighting activation to anchor the wisdom through the body so that everything you desire can land in your life. And I've found that this has been born, this experience has been born from having done lots of programs and courses over the past 3.5 years, and each of them played an incredible part of shaping who I am and the facilitator that I am and the coach and mentor that I am now. But the piece that catapulted my success was the embodiment piece, and having it land in the body, having things move through the body, and knowing and recognizing that I'm a soul, that we're a soul having a human experience, and that we don't disconnect from this human experience by spiritual bypassing with everything. So this is very much about bringing it back down to earth and back through the body so that we can ascend and evolve with all that we desire. So today's day 3. We're going to recap day 2. We're going to discover what pillar 3 is, connect all the pieces together, reflect, if we have time, a quantum activation, and then I'll share with you the next steps. Now, we have heaps to cover today, and so I'll keep an eye on the time. So we may go over by maybe 15 minutes. So I want to just honor and respect everybody's time. Recapping day 2. So we journeyed through the heart and talked about our heart consciousness and radiance, how that supports us to have this experience of being able to shine our light and have it be received by those around us. We talked about meaningful connection and what that is and why that's important. And we talked about magnetism. So pillar 2 being magnetism. And so we'll go through that just to recap things. So the heart and its consciousness. We went through the journey of all that the heart gives us the capacity to experience. And it's not just, love or not love. It's all of those 12 aspects that we went through yesterday in day 2. And heart consciousness allows us to access the coherence required for radiance. So when it's within our heart, and when we can navigate all of the feelings that are coming up for us, and we're able to make space and hold those that and have awareness around them, that then we know what to do in order to create the happy, healthy internal environment so that we can fully shine. Now, we talked about connection and meaningful, making it meaningful. And so connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. And when they give and receive without judgment, and they derive substance and strength from that relationship. I don't think there's anything more fulfilling than having the experience of a relationship where you feel seen, heard, and valued, and that that the experience is non-judgmental. So there's this deep acceptance between you, and then that strengthens us and supports us in growing and creating the experiences that we want in our life. And the elements of meaningful connection include grounded confidence, the courage to walk alongside others, and the tenderness with the story. We do not know what is going on for the other person. We looked at all the 12 aspects of what's going on, what can be going on in someone's heart consciousness. And so when you look at someone's tears, we don't know, even coupled with facial expressions, we don't know whether that's grief or sadness or relief or happiness. We don't really know what's going on for that person. Only through meaningful connection can we really learn and open up and listen and hold space with that other person to hear their story and what it is, what's going on for them. And so what these pieces allow us to do is have this beautiful, deep intimacy with other humans that makes our life experience worthwhile. And so we talked about magnetism, the second pillar being magnetism. So it's a physical phenomenon produced by the motion of electric charge, which results in an attractive or repulsive force between objects. And we talked about in business and life, that's our ability to attract people and our approachability. So the extent to which that others perceive us to be open. And so this is, I remember going through a sales training when I was in my early 20s, and the whole thing was about this piece. And they didn't call it magnetism. They talked about our openness and our approachability. Now, if we have fear around connecting with new people, or we have fear about confrontation, or we're apprehensive about, we're unsure what they might think of us, all of those things affect our magnetism, the way we experience life and business and relationships. And so we get to look at those pieces, we get to bring awareness to those pieces, and we get to heal that stuff so that that's not an issue. Like anyone who knows me from my earlier years, like one of my mum's friends commented on my Facebook the other day, who's known me since I was 14. And then she gave me a call and talked about her experience of me through my teenage years and through my 20s, and how, she said it seemed in one part, part of me was this, she got to see, because she was my mum's friend and she spent time with us at home, is that she got to see this confident, assertive young person that could articulate herself. And then she'd see me in social situations and she'd see all the things that showed up for me in those situations. And I was a completely different person. I couldn't be my authentic self. I didn't feel safe in my body. And all of those, the strengths and the characteristics that I had weren't available to me when I was in those situations. And so I'm a living, breathing example of what's possible, I have having started my business 4 years ago in coaching. I've had other businesses, but in starting this coaching business 4 years ago and having to do it online, which is a whole different experience than it is building a traditional bricks and mortar business, doing it online like this, where I have to self-promote. And the theory behind it at the time was like, okay, I talk every day, I've done sales before, I've stood up in front of groups of people to sell things, and I can do this. And the first few months I was completely frozen, deer in headlights, couldn't press go live on my phone to do it. It was everything shut down, my entire body. I didn't have the safety in my body in order to go ahead and do that. And it crippled me in that time. However, being the person that I am and being so committed to devoted to my vision, is that I I took the steps one after the other to support myself to move through that experience. So now the other day when I walked into an event that I took my children to, I was very aware that I led the way and I walked through the door, and then I just started looking, making eye contact with the people that were there, and then, had found somebody I wanted to talk to. I can't tell you how many events I've been to, and I have, people have thought, wow, she's not very friendly, she's all of these things, but purely it was the anxiety that I had inside me that I couldn't, didn't feel safe in my body, so I couldn't be my authentic self. And so what this journey has supported me with is to land all of these pieces in my body so I can be my most authentic self in any situation. Even when I'm on a webinar, facilitating a webinar with 20 people, and then someone decides when it's their turn to come off mute and talk, and then just blindside me with something that I'm completely unprepared for, and then being able to remain centered and in a feeling of safety and security in my body, that I'm able to hold the space, I'm able to stay in my leadership, and I'm able to continue to facilitate the experience that I'm facilitating. So all of these things are possible when we decide and we devote ourselves to it. And so pillar 3 is self-expression. So self-expression can help you reflect on your life, your actions, your decisions, your relationships, your beliefs, and your thoughts, rather than keeping them inside. We know what happens when we lock down in our voice. We get into loops, and then we create stories about that, and things get bigger and bigger and bigger. You can probably recall many examples of how you've done that. I've done this and caught myself and gone, actually, maybe if I just have a conversation with the person, I can clear this up in 5 seconds. But I've spent hours in loops at times, not communicating. And so by expressing ourselves thoughtfully, we can better communicate, collaborate, and build community with others. And we know, like the example that I gave yesterday that I shared from the scientist, Dr. Zach Bush, is that a cell in isolation is chaotic. And put that cell in with community, in with other cells, whether it's like itself or complementary. I was trying to think of the word complementary. There, a coherence happens, a unification and a flow happens. And so he talks about the flaws of studying cells in isolation, and we don't really know the kind of grounded science in that if we're studying things in isolation. That community is where it happens. And I had a beautiful conversation with a soul sister this morning about this very thing. Everything looks and feels different when we are in community with others. We are not designed, humans are not designed to be individual. I just realized I haven't shut the door and my family have come home. Hold on one sec. Okay, I'm back. We are not designed to do things on our own, and we achieve more in community with others. Now, most of us, because of a whole myriad of reasons, have got mixed stories and beliefs and thoughts around community, because there's some stories around having to do things on our own and be independent and not being able to trust others, and all of these pieces that come into play that affect our ability to be in community with others. And so we get to do the work that is available to us, the reflection and looking at our wounds and working on these pieces so that we can show up as our authentic self, express ourselves fully, and be in community with others and have it be fulfilling and joyous. And so one of the pieces of the self-expression is, the link between the larynx and the womb and manifestation. So we've talked about radiance and heart consciousness and magnetism, which all falls between the the solar plexus and the heart. Now, you know, the seat of the soul is in the solar plexus. And then the next piece, the throat and the expression, so funny, is the larynx in the womb. So the throat center and the sacral, which is our womb center. And the throat is the portal for manifestation, to bring things into matter. So it all comes through this place. However, it has to move through all of the other energy centers. It has to move through us in order to come into matter, come into manifestation. And so, you know, many of us have had the experience of being locked down in the voice or in the throat. And I wanted to share a bit of a story about the process of freeing the voice. So I would love to hear first, actually, in the chat box. I know some of you have heard this before. Maybe some of you haven't. So let me know in the chat box, do you know about the link between the larynx and the womb and manifestation? Have you heard of it before? And I know some of you are in my program called Expressed, so you will have heard it before. Yes. No. Okay. And so some of you yes, some of you no. So I'm going to show you an image. Actually, I might go to the next piece now. So the vocal cords and the vulva have a similar anatomy. The vocal cords and the pelvic floor have a similar anatomy. The larynx and the uterus have a similar anatomy. They're made of the same tissue. And so when one is locked down, the other one is affected. So it can be that the other one, that there's a bottleneck of energy in that area, so we can be over compensating in that area, or we can be locked down in both of them. And what we know is that part of creating the fullest self-expression of who we are involves us using our voice and communicating. And in order to communicate, we need the throat chakra to be supple and flexible and open to allow the energy to move through. And you know that experience where, like I have this experience from time to time where I decide what I'm going to say and then I go to say it and then I feel the restriction in my throat. I feel the tightness. And so that experience is coming from the memories that we hold within our body from our life's experience, or from generational experience. So it is no secret that women for centuries have been shut down and oppressed. We've heard the stories from the 12th and 13th century about the witch hunts and how women were, silenced and persecuted for sharing their gifts and their healing and their truth. And so we hold these part of these experiences within our body, within our DNA. And, these things can be felt now. So it's not just about our decision for us to say something that we want to say and then feel ourselves locked down and then go, okay, I'm just going to push through this. Because what happens is that resistance that we feel that we might just push through and say anyway, hold in our voice, holds an imprint, holds a vibration and a frequency based on how we were feeling when we transmitted it. And so what happens is that we have the experience where the message maybe doesn't land the way we intend it to, or where we have a business, or let's use business as an example. We have a business and we're communicating something that's from our heart, that we're deeply passionate about, that we know is our medicine and we know what we're here to do. And then we communicate it and it doesn't land in other people's hearts. It is not received in a way that they can decode the message and then take action from what it is that you're saying. And that can be because there's a distortion in the frequency of what's being communicated. And so this comes back to that coherence piece. We get to look at what's happening on the outside of us in the form of results like, money blocks or customer retention blocks or customer acquisition blocks or lack of motivation and vitality within us, or feeling like our channel's blocked and we're not being as fully creative as we want to be. All of those things show us that there's something going on in our internal world that's being distorted, and that we can look at that, bring love and light and healing to it, and then create the shifts, the alchemy piece, in order for that to be different, so that then our results and what we experience in the outer world also look different. And so the womb piece is the sacral chakra, and the womb and our uterus and our pelvic floor is the seat of our creativity and our vitality. And if we are locked down in that area, if we're just not feeling our fire lit, if we're not feeling juicy and excited and passionate and inspired, then there's something that's being dampened. There's something heavy, there's something not lit up in that area that we can bring light and love to and support ourselves to move through the alchemy process, so that we can have access to our life force. Our womb is where we create life. The portal between our legs is the most potent of all portals that exist. It takes 2 cells and creates a fully made human. And then, with our body, we then feed that human with the perfect food. And so if we're not feeling that with our body, and we're not feeling that absolute passion and fire and excitement and motivation, there's something for us to look at, and there's something for us to work through and to get support with, so that we can open all of this up and experience the absolute majesty of what is available to us in our life. And so the vagus nerve runs from the brainstem to the cervix. And so the middle vagal nerve, vagus nerve, and then there's branches off that. And so the nervous system regulation piece is incredibly important here. If we are not in our center, if we're not feeling regulated, and we're not in a place of safety within the body, like we talked about yesterday, then the soul expression piece is very challenging. It's very challenging to express from that perspective. And so I would love to hear in the chat box what inhibits your expression, your soul expression. So when you speak, and what inhibits it, or where do you feel blocked with your expression? Okay, Natalie says, feeling like I don't have the right to articulate myself properly, therein looking like I don't have my shit together. Yes. And I just got to have a look at the next slide because okay. Worrying that people will think I'm too loud, over the top, and opinionated. Yes. And I'll wait for the other comment to come in. So what we're going to do is just having a look, shining your light. Oh yeah, you've already read that one. Okay, so now we're going to, let me just check the time. Beautiful. We're going to do a short closed eye process, and let's just see what Nadine says. Fear of not being liked because of childhood pain. Yes. And that wound around being excluded from the tribe is a tribal wound that we have. And it's part of the primal brain, is to keep, in order for us to survive in ancient times, we had to be in the tribe to survive. If we got ousted from the tribe, we would die. And so that ancient wound is a really common one. And one of the ways that we can support ourselves with that one is that we create a community of like-minded souls. So now that my sense of community and belonging is so strong, I don't get so upset or wounded now if someone doesn't like me. And this is for real. Like, I grew up in a very disconnected family. I don't have much contact with my actual biological family. And so I have that wound, that rejection wound, the abandonment wound, all of those pieces from the lack of belonging that I felt as a young child. And so this played out in my life. And if I was a single cell, if I was an individual person trying to, and I had one friend here and one friend here, that every time someone did something that said, I don't approve of what you're doing or saying, Sky, it was just such an intense experience to feel that rejection. And what has shifted is, as we connect and build our community of like-minded people, then the sense of belonging and unity and collective mind that happens in that community, then it is less significant when someone says, I don't like what you're doing, I don't approve of what you're doing. And then it just becomes like an opinion and a comment by that person, and you realize it's not life or death. And so that gets to change when we create solid community. And so and I just want to look at the next slide because I don't remember what I did. Okay. There we go. So now, if you will get yourself comfortable, and we're just going to do a short closed eye process around this piece, and then I'm going to bring it all together for you. So probably 5 to 7 minutes that we're going to do now. So if you just sit in where you're sitting and then uncross your arms and legs, and just give yourself a little wriggle so that you can get comfortable where you're sitting. Feel your sit bones sink into this chair, and then relaxing the shoulders and the jaw, and then closing down the eyes, knowing that you're completely safe here now. And you're going to hear a few different sounds. I'm just going to check that I've got the settings right. Yes, I've got the settings right. So you'll hear my voice, and then you'll hear some of my instruments. And so closing down the eyes and taking a deep breath. And as you breathe in, feeling your diaphragm expand and activate your gut brain. And as you exhale, exhale with an audible sigh and sink a little deeper. And now with the next inhalation, breathing into the heart space. And feeling your heart brain activate. Breathing out with an audible sigh and sinking a little deeper. And the next inhalation, breathing into the mind and activating the mind brain. And then breathing out and letting go. And on the next inhalation, breathing into all three energy centers, the mind brain, the heart brain, the gut brain, and feeling them activate in complete coherence and alignment, and then breathing out, knowing that you're completely safe and held in this space. And now feeling sensing, seeing a red cord come from the base of your spine and shoot down into the core of Mother Earth. And as it moves through all the layers with such grace and ease, through all the layers of the earth, and connecting with the crystal core center of Mama Gaia. And as the connection is made, feel how deeply held and nourished you are in this connection. And now feel the frequency of the beautiful Divine Mother moving up through the red cord, up in a spiraling motion up through the base of the spine, and then moving up through, spiraling all of the energy centers in your body, moving through the throat and up through the third eye, and then out of the crown comes a gold cord shooting up into the universe. And the cord is moving up through the darkness, through all the stars, until it connects with the central sun and your soul star. And feel the incredible protection and provision that is from the divine above. And then moving the frequency down through the gold cord, coming back down and into the crown of your head, and moving down in a spiraling motion and resting in your heart space. And now feeling completely supported and connected above and below. And knowing now that it's safe for you to go on a little adventure. And seeing, sensing, feeling, knowing yourself, sitting where you're sitting, and now floating above your body along the line of the gold cord, up and landing in your quantum universe. See what you see, feel what you feel, hear what you hear. And now in your quantum universe, notice what's around you. Notice who's there. Is it your soul family? Is it your guides? Are there civilizations of light? And they're receiving and connecting to the beautiful community that is yours. And now, in this community of souls that you're connecting with, see, sense, feel, see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. And now notice the version of you that is radiant, that is magnetic, and that is fully self-expressed. What does she look like? How do her eyes look? What is she wearing? Who is around her? And notice the response and the receptivity of the community around her. Notice how it feels. Feel that feeling in your body. Notice what it feels like to be received, to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued in that way. And now, one of your community steps forward and wants to share a message with you. And so, receiving that message now, what message do they have for you? And notice and sense and feel and know that your heart consciousness is completely open and you can receive this gift from them in any way, shape, or form. And now feel this receiving and expand that feeling so that the feeling moves outside the body and into your auric field. And then expand and amplify that feeling into your community. And then expand that feeling even further to your country, and expand that feeling across the globe. And now expanding that feeling, that radiance, that magnetism, and that self-expression into the universe. And feeling the magnetic force, feeling the pull as it moves around and connects with souls across the galaxy, and then feeling it cycle back and come back into your heart consciousness. And now give that feeling a color and give that feeling a shape. And notice that feeling. So now it's time to say thank you to the community around you and to the one that gave you the gift and the message. And so taking a deep breath and then traveling back down the cord and landing back in your body and wriggling your fingers and toes and opening your eyes when you're ready. And so if you feel called, you can share in the chat box what your message was or what you received from that experience. And I'll share those. And so while you're doing that, I'm going to bring all of the pieces together now. So the journey of igniting our soul, and the reason that we've taken this journey is because we have this beautiful gift of life. We're a soul having this human experience, and our soul desires to have all the experience it desires. And in order to do that, we need to give ourselves permission to have the things that we desire. And I have had many conversations with people that I've worked with over the years, and you have full permission to desire the things that you want to experience. I love glitter and sparkly luxury things, and I love the earth, and I love the environment. And so we get to have all of the experiences that we desire. And to do that, we have to support ourselves through the process of getting out of our own way and healing our stuff and coming back to a place of wholeness so that we can have these experiences. And we do that in the form of community and mentorship. There is no way I would be where I am and have created what I've created without mentorship and community. Some of the loneliest times I had was when I first became a parent, and I was home with a child and just going, this is not how I pictured it. And having the experience of going, I don't feel like, if I was in a place of postnatal depression and I don't even have anyone that I feel safe enough, feel a deep enough connection with that I could call for support at that time in my life. I didn't feel like I wanted to burden anyone else. Everything changed in my life when I stepped forward and I took a leap and I invested in myself to change the game. And the first investment that I made was into a community, a business community, spiritual business community. And the feeling that happened for me when I was in a room with hundreds of other people, listening to what was being said, going, wow, here I was thinking I was a minority and that I was unique in some way and I had to do this on my own and all of that type of thing. Community and mentorship absolutely changed the game. And if you have the soul nudge to create something in the world, then that's what you're here to do. That is your purpose. Your desire is, your purpose is to be the fullest expression of who you truly are. That is our purpose. And it can shift over time. We can change dramatically. I'm a completely different person and have completely different desires than I had a few years ago. And so we're this ever evolving being, desiring to have experiences that we have permission, give ourselves permission to experience. And so let me just have a look at the comments. So, just use my mouse. The message I received is, I am enough. A wonderful sunflower is a symbol I received. I love that. And you know, the thing about the sunflower is that the sunflower will always face the sun and always receive. It's always receiving. That's the thing about a sunflower. And so they can, in the field, they kind of change direction where the sun is. And so they're in a constant place of receiving. So the sunflower is an incredible, beautiful symbol. And Katie says, my message was to just be myself, thereby setting an example for other women that it's possible to live your life by your own design and hopefully inspiring others to follow their own desires. My color and shape were a bright magenta heart. Yes, beautiful. My grandmother, Natalie says, my grandmother reminded me the boss that I'm meant to be, and a golden glittering orbs. Oh, so beautiful. Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the pieces with, we talked about radiance and we talked about magnetism and self-expression, is that all of these pieces are possible for us when we choose this for ourselves. So being the boss, being the leader of our life and what it is that we're creating, it is innate in us to do this. And there's just some mud that sometimes we need to clear to get out of our own way to step into that fullest expression of ourselves. And so the next steps are, so there's people watching the replay, is to book your chat with me if you haven't already, is do the daily tasks in the Facebook group and choose yourself. So today, the third and final task for the scholarships is, how would your life look different if you were in your radiance, magnetism, and expression? So I'm going to write it in the chat box. How would your life be different if you were in your radiance, magnetism, and self-expression? And then the second part is share your biggest breakthrough or takeaway from this 3 days. Share your biggest breakthrough or takeaway from this 3 days. And so The program that you have the opportunity to join me in starting in February is called Radiance. Let me move this because this will be on the recording. Is called Radiance. So this is a 3-month initiation to fully embody your soul light in and through the body so that everything you desire can land in your life. So it's for women devoted to building confidence, inner knowing, and the courage to be her most authentic self. And so I'm going to send everyone who's registered a link with this in, so you've got the details. And so what is included, this is to anchor the wisdom through your body now. So it includes 6 wisdom workshops, 4 group healing sessions, and 4 group quantum, or I've written healing sessions twice, coaching sessions. So there's 6 workshops, 4 healing sessions, and 4 coaching sessions over the 3 months. There's a private Facebook group that you can share your wins and celebrations or ask for support, and that's for between calls. So some weeks there's two sessions in a week. There might be a workshop and a healing session. Some weeks there's just one. And then there's also integration weeks. So there's a week in March and there's a week at the end of February and a week in April that's an integration week. So some weeks there's 2 sessions, some weeks there's 1 session, and some weeks there's no session. And so the Facebook group is a supportive place to get support between the calls. And there's also a bonus Transform Your Money Story program that's included with this one, because these are important pieces in creating what we're here to create, is to shift ourselves from scarcity thinking to abundance mindset. So that's included in this program. And so the investment. And so the best investment that you will ever make is that the investment in yourself. The return on investment is profound when we invest in ourselves. So I'm going to share with you what the investment is for the program. And then tomorrow I'm going to announce the scholarships. And I'm going to announce the scholarship winners in the Facebook group, in the Soul Ignition Facebook group. So then you can go in there. So I'll do the announcement at 9 a.m. and I will, it'll be done in a live video. So you can watch it when it's convenient for you, or you can jump on live when I'm doing it. And so everybody that applied for the scholarship has done all the things that's required, and today's the final activity, and then I'm going to draw it tomorrow. And I feel really guided to draw it out of a bowl because I can't choose. I can't choose. It feels, because you've all done an incredible job at the activities and things that I asked you to do, and you've showed up and you've participated. And so I'm going to draw that tomorrow. So now I'm going to tell you what the investment is for the program. And then tomorrow with the announcement, then with the scholarships, you then have 7 days till the following Sunday the 18th of December, to redeem your scholarship. So one of them's a full scholarship, and the other 4 are part scholarships. So you obviously don't have to use it if you don't want to. But you would then, so everyone will then book another call with me, another 10-minute call, in order to arrange that, use your scholarship. So the investment for the program is $3,000. Everybody who's participated in this challenge receives a $500 scholarship. So everyone who's done it, who's registered for the webinars and who has done the replays, will receive $500 scholarship, which makes the program $2,500. And what you're receiving is the 14 sessions over the 3 months, plus all of that support, and you receive lifetime access to the recordings. So you get to keep the recordings. Then for those who win the $1,000 scholarship, the program for you would be $2,000. And then the one lucky person, and so the lucky people who receive the $1,000 scholarship, that can be contributed toward the $3,000, so it becomes $2,000, and you receive all of those aspects that I've shared. And then the person who wins the full scholarship receives the 3-month group program plus the VIP upgrade. And what the VIP upgrade is private access to me over the 3 months via Voxer, plus 4 one-on-one sessions over the 3 months that are, yes, celebrating. It's so huge. 4 one-on-one sessions, and those sessions are, the whole process is amazing, and there will be breakthroughs, and it's fun, and you'll be so loved and held in the group program. And what the VIP upgrade makes available to you is that we can accelerate things, because there's a higher focus, a higher level of focus on moving the needle forward, so we can really accelerate things. So that's what's available with the VIP upgrade. So I think, yes, so that I did so well with time these days. I don't know what's happened for me. I used to not be good at this. So the scholarship announcements will be tomorrow. So be in the celebration of and the frequency of what it is that you've received over the 3 days. Do the exercise in the group of sharing how things would look different, how your life would look different if you were in your radiance, your magnetism, and your self-expression. And what was your biggest takeaway or breakthrough from these 3 days? Share it in the form of a video or a written post, a video for under 3 minutes, or a written post with a photo. And if you could do that by this evening, please. And then I will do the announcement of the scholarships tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So please let me know in the chat box, what is the biggest takeaway from today? And now, while you do that, I'm going to put some music on. Actually, I wonder if I can do it. I want to play a transmission for you, but I will have to pause the recording because of the copyright situation, or the rights to the music situation. So I'll do that. I'll pause the recording. You can share with me in the chat box your biggest takeaway from today, and then I'm going to play a transmission. Gets me every time. So I just paused it. We listened to a transmission called A Letter to the Women of the World, and I will include it when I share the recording. I will include the link to the transmission so that those watching the replay, you can receive that piece as well. And so to conclude, I wanted to share some of the takeaways that are shared in the chat box, and also that I forgot to add about the program, is that I have payment plans, so longer than 3-month payment plans if that's required for people. So the takeaways were, so Nadine said how important the connection to the uterus womb is to keep opening up the expression. Thank you, Sky, for your amazing love and light. I feel the community of love for women and all souls. I feel an abundance of gratitude. Beautiful. Natalie says, the takeaway is I have all the power and tools I need within me already. I'm enough and do not need outside validation. I can do anything I set my mind to. Yes. Katie says, the biggest takeaway from today is that I'm safe and supported, and I don't have to have any fear of becoming whoever I am meant to be, which involves a lot of color, and it doesn't matter if it's too loud or too loud for anyone else. Yes. And the liberation that is available to us when we express ourselves in the way that we want to. Like I've shared, I rock up to the kids' pickup sometimes and I'm wearing and people say to me, are you going out? And I'm like, no, this is how I feel like expressing myself today. And other times I look like I've, come out of a washing machine, but it's just it's however I feel like expressing myself, and the liberation that's available is because we then know that this is just about our expression and our light gets to be unfiltered, unfiltered. So thank you for your beautiful commitment and devotion to showing up for this transmission. And for those who are watching the replay, I would love you to still participate for you in the group, do the activities that I've prescribed because of what's available for you in that experience. When we show up for ourselves, when we choose ourselves, when we do these activities, we get to bring love and light to these pieces that were possibly our blind spots, or possibly something there that we haven't been giving the attention and the validation to support ourselves to move forward. And by being witnessed by others in the beautiful, sacred, safe space that I've created in the group, is that we then support ourselves to move forward. So when we declare something or when we share something and then it becomes part of the community, it supports us in creating what it is that we're here to create. So in saying that, we wrap this up. Thank you again. I will put my link, my 10-minute chat link in the email when I send out the replay. And I'll do the announcements tomorrow for the scholarship. So good luck, everyone. I'm excited to be able to give this away and just stay in the celebration of what it is that you've received over the 3 days. Have a beautiful afternoon and I'll see you soon.